Roles of a denizen. A content creator is a user that creates posts and is rewarded based on the quality of their content. A content evaluator is a user that helps assess the quality of content and enforces community standards. The evaluator is effectively taking part in a marketplace to curate content and is rewarded for early evaluation. A content consumer is a user that wishes to find and consume the most valuable content in a given subject area or within a community. A lair owner is a person holding tokenized ownership of all or part of a community lair. Owners are rewarded with a portion of all mining activity happening within their lair. Owners are incentivized to build the best community of content creators and evaluators.
Hello, good morning, denizens, and people thinking about joining Den, and people that aren't here yet, and all of that. Oh, and Gravity
People in the
Craft
freezer.
and
In the
T Swift
freezer.
or Die. Good morning.
Good
Hey,
morning.
what's up?
How's
we're
everybody
saying
doing? Happy New Year,
I
right?
like that we're saying good morning to people that are in the future at some point now. Like,
Yeah,
hello, people
Well, this
watching
is
this
recorded,
2 years
so
from now.
yeah, when somebody finds out about what we've done here, they're going to come back and rewatch and catch
Maybe-
up.
Oh,
Right?
those
So
are
good
the
morning
worst
to
ones
you.
I don't want to watch.
That's a big
Yes.
assumption that it's going to be morning, man. It could
Oh,
be
and VKB,
evening.
hello, India, VKB India, what's up? I wanted to say, I'm glad that you popped in with a comment, VK, because last episode or whenever it was, we sort of picked apart one of your music posts, and I didn't want to embarrass you. You deleted it, and I'm sorry if we embarrassed you. We were just using it as an example, and it was fine. It was just an example. So just wanted to get that out there.
Yeah, you make good stuff overall.
Anytime that I'm or any of us are like looking at a post and picking it apart, unless we're specifically saying like, no, we wouldn't, would we? Because if it was
there's
that
no
bad,
reason
it
to
would
be
just
like, get this out of here.
No, we would
So,
never.
like-
I don't think there's a situation where we would intentionally try to shame
I
someone.
mean,
over
unless
a
it's
post.
something that John posted. I mean, then we would just
Well,
immediately
yeah, our own posts. That's fair
rally to
game.
get them
You
out.
know?
Well, like that's
can-
the whole point of Den too, is that like you can post whatever you want, and the community is gonna determine whether it has value or not. So, like, there can be a lot of stuff that gets posted that I dislike that's gonna get upvoted. You know what I mean?
But that's just you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like a I had a word, but there it's gone now. Let me drink some more coffee. But basically, John's exactly right. It's in even more than that, it actually requires some experimentation on the style of posts and formatting and things like that to figure out what the community likes, because you're definitely going to put stuff in there that people don't like eventually. Just like if you speed and you go 9 over the speed limit every day, you're rolling the dice every time.
Eventually, someone's going to.
Someone's not going to like that. But that's
And-
fine. That's just human nature and society. And that's how you figure out what that community wants. So don't ever be embarrassed, man. Even if you are embarrassed, just take it in stride and learn from it. So anyway,
if it makes you
enough
feel
of that.
better, if it makes you feel better, whenever you want to talk about it, I got a new thing that's driving me crazy.
Yeah. Do
So
you?
whenever you're ready for
All right. I'll keep that. I'll keep that in the pocket. Awesome.
Now I'm curious.
It really burns my ass. A flame about that high. John, what are you drinking this morning?
This is just
Coffee?
straight up cold brew. It's
I
just
don't
straight up
believe
cold
you.
brew.
You want to go through how to eat? Because, we've started a little tradition. How do you make cold brew? Because I feel
Yeah.
like you can brew it cold, or you can brew it hot and then chill it down. Or, like, is there a strategy for cold brew coffee, quote
Is there
unquote?
like a thing you can buy that's like a cold brew thing?
So-
Is it like a specific process?
Yeah, cold brew is not hot coffee that you put ice in. That's iced coffee. Baby.
Nice coffee. Oh, see? Learning something.
It's very different. So essentially what it is you're leaving coffee grinds in cold water for 12 to 24 hours.
Oh.
Yeah. So you're getting a lot more of the caffeine pulled out of it. And you're not using hot water, so you're not like burning the grinds. You're not
Saving the planet. You're not using power.
You got to run the fridge. That
Oh, you got
It's got to stay cold, and you
All right.
probably
Unless you
turn
just
the
put
sink
it
on.
outside.
I was just trying to
Like-
pick up on keywords that people like to talk about. That's all.
It's like
Yeah.
your coffee is cold, like it just frozen, depending on where you live.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I've been thinking about that a lot lately because in this the industry that I've been working in anyway there's a lot of weird feedback about like everything that you do on blockchain now. There's backlash against because it's destroying the planet because it uses some amount of energy. So I'm always just thinking about that and like, well, okay, like Tesla is credited with trying to save the planet, and they use tons of energy in their electric cars. So I don't know where the I don't know where the qualifications are, kind of
Doesn't
thing.
make much
But anyway,
sense.
so it's not about that at all. It's about coffee. I'm sorry. Finish your what you were saying,
It's not
John.
about that at all. It's about coffee.
that was it. That
Yeah,
was the whole thing. It's
So I
like
could just
start
grind
the
up-
cold brew.
I could
And
just
then,
grind
like,
up my coffee, throw it in some water, and put it in the fridge. Come back tomorrow or so, and then like I'm good to go for a while.
And it's going to be great, by the way. I'm
Yes.
glad you reminded me of this. I had a friend through parts of working for a different place a while back that would come over all the time, and she did cold brew coffee, and it was just I remember now that it was just like she'd have this little thing in the fridge, and it would be coffee grinds and this thing that just dripped cold water on it all night, and it was probably the best coffee I've ever had. Now that I think about it,
Does it taste? Is it less acidic? Does it
It's
like
less
not
bitter.
pull in certain things that you normally taste?
from what I remember, it was not as bitter. It was like more of the actual.
Could have just been
kinda
the type
nutty.
of coffee beans you had too, though.
True, it was probably ridiculously expensive.
Do you
coffee.
think there's a difference in bitterness, John?
Usually cold brew is more bitter.
Yeah, well, I'm
But-
very incorrect then.
But that's also like saying like beer is more bitter than liquor. Like it's going to depend on the beer.
It depends on
It's
also
gonna
who's
depend
tasting
on
it.
the
It's also
liquor.
going to depend on your taste a lot too, I guess. Yeah, right. Because I know sometimes, I mean, I like beer a lot, probably like more than Brett Kavanaugh, if I had to guess. And so I'm really picky about beers a lot of times too. But I'll also sometimes I'll get sick of all the craft beer because none of it tastes like just beer flavored beer. And so the other day I had a Busch beer, and I was like, that's actually not terrible as I remembered. It was ice cold,
It would
which
have
it
to
has
be.
to be. But I was like, oh, maybe I should buy some cheaper beer every now and then just to have that lager, that
Just to be
regular ass
humbled.
lager, kind of thing.
like,
Not
look
saying
out
I'm
for
going to go
like-
buy Busch. I probably would never go buy Busch intentionally. But it reminded me that beer flavored beer is great. And some people, though, think it's bitter.
Go down to
or-
like a Yingling or something at least. Don't drop as far as Bush.
I mean, my brain just did a Bush Obama thing. Yingling was what Obama would always give somebody when they visited, like the oldest American brewery kind of thing.
Oh right.
And so you said Yingling Bush, and I was just like, presidents? What?
When I went to
Brain jumped around.
when I went to Philadelphia, I was still kind of having this thing where I was like, oh, I'm going to all these places. I have to try their beer, their
Mhm.
local thing. So I went to Philadelphia. I went to a cheesesteak place that was amazing, right across the street from Independence Hall, where I got chased by a guy with a machine gun. But
Really?
yeah, I tried to go read a plaque, and it was after hours. And apparently, going over a fence at Independence Hall is a real bad idea because they've got like spec up soldiers ready to take you down.
Oh, you went over a fence to look at a plaque.
I went over a fence that was a foot high to get from like
Oh, it was like a step over the fence
a
thing.
yard. The
Yeah.
sign was like a yard away. But anyways, I go to this cheesesteak factory place, and I asked them for a local beer, and they just cracked me a Yingling, and I couldn't even say anything because I was like, you know what, you're right. Like I'm the one that's wrong here. I'll take it.
Daytona's like that. I went to, I don't know if it was Bike Week or one of those Main Street. I think it was a Main Street music festival or something in Daytona. And I went into one of the biker bars there, and they had all the, like cheap beer, domestic. I don't know. I don't like to say domestic anymore because all the craft beers are domestic too, technically. But, when you go to a bar in the U.S., you have like domestic and import is their typical categories. And so they had all of these beers that I didn't necessarily want. And I asked them if they had any like craft beers or any like imports or like stuff from, breweries in the region or something. And they pointed me to a bucket. I say a bucket. It's one of those things that like a convenience store would have full of ice and then drinks in the top. You know what I'm talking about? Open top.
Yeah.
So they pointed me to the discount bucket. Now remember, this is a biker bar in Daytona. So they point me to the discount bucket, and I go look at it, and it's got all these fantastic beers in it, right? It's got IPAs, and it's got, I don't know if it had any sours, but it had like, ambers, and it had different
The
styles of
discount
beer,
bin.
just a variety, and, a variety of beer. Everything at the bar was lager, 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 lager. You know what I mean? And cider. And
Budweiser.
so there was a table next to it, and I was like, cool, can I sit there? So I sat down by the discount bucket. It was all half off. And that was my spot that week or that weekend.
See, that would never happen here. Like, it would be like, oh, a bucket of craft beer. Those will be $15
Nobody wanted them.
a pop.
They couldn't
please.
sell them. They tried, what probably happened is a distributor was like, hey, here's the new thing. People are digging the IPAs. They brought them in. The clientele, though, you got to think about your demographic. They want like a daily drinker. They want something they can be there all weekend with a beer in their hand, drinking it. And if you do that with an IPA that's like a little too much, you're not riding your bike.
No, and also
You
you're
shouldn't
gonna
ride
feel
your
like
bike
you-
with Budweiser anyway, but you're
gonna
not
feel like you ate a loaf of bread too.
Yeah, you're not staying up late. You're not you're not doing a lot of things you planned on doing. So it's just a matter of what your goals are. So here's been the coffee and beer opening for the new year. How do you like our new segment?
I kind of like it. Whatever random beverage conversation pops into our mind right at the morning.
Yeah, it could be a little bit jarring to jump right into talking about Den, first thing when we're getting up.
Yeah.
So I figured some random discussion isn't a bad thing.
Because for the people that don't know, we genuinely do this very shortly after getting up. Like, this isn't like a shtick. Like,
That's the idea. Oh, we're
I'm
not
gonna wait for like 40 minutes tops.
And VKB gave us some feedback, said that they are learning things every day, and thank you, and happy to join you guys, and Happy New Year to everyone. So
Awesome.
from India, Happy New Year's to everyone as well.
Cool.
I love that, having different people around and stuff. And I don't know how to read the other comment, but good morning. And y'all weird, what's up? Stop being sick. All right, let's pull up the page and see where we are this morning. Huh? All right. So if you don't know, you can join the call. Y'all weird. If you can listen today, maybe you want to hop in. If you go to this post and scroll down, you'll see that there's this link that says join the call live right here. If you click on that, you'll pop up in our little lobby and we can bring you on screen. If you have something specific you want to talk about, throw it in the private chat and we'll look at it so we know what you're coming in about. Or if you just want to have some coffee with us, come on in.
It's more than
VKB,
acceptable.
you're welcome too. Anybody. So, and then this is in the Den layer on the Den website.
For Den.
And that's how you get there. With that, let's see what we've got. We do have a new LCP. So every month there's a new LCP. We do a week of proposals. So you can go to the LCP layer, which I have linked to. There's instructions here on how to do it. So here's the announcement. If you go to the LCP layer, you can find the instructions and be sure to read them. And note especially this part right here where it says cut and paste from here. So grab that, cut and paste, copy and paste. You can't really cut it because it'll still be there. And then you can write your own proposal with that format. And what that does is it makes it really easy for Den on the for Den on the other end to create a proposal out of that. So you make a post with this in the LCP layer, which if I go to it now, you'll see some, right? Layer proposal, upcoming crypto projects, and we should go through these. I have one up too. I want to do a Linux. I want to do a Linux layer. I tried to make a funny joke. We'll see if it is funny or not. But I love the people that argue about how Linux is not Linux. It's GNU/Linux. So I figured on putting the name like the word slash instead of a slash, GNU/Linux, and then short name Linux. That way, hopefully, we appease everyone.
I really want the Linux board, just for the Linux layer, just for everybody out there, because that would be fun to just have a place to go and babble on about Linuxy things for a while.
Yep. And so this is my proposal, and I just wanted to show you. I guess I'm showing it off because I have an advantage. I don't know. I'll show everyone else's off too. But I actually did the same thing. I copied and pasted even the part that says, cut and paste from here. Just like if you're doing like a signature, like a cryptographic signature or something for PGP or whatever. And then I just went in and updated deleted the text and added my own, that kind of thing. VKB's here. Cool. We'll bring you up in just a second.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, expected audience, plans, and then just talk about what you want to do. Talk about how you expect to get people into the layer. Just because it exists doesn't mean that it's going to have a bunch of people show up, what kind of articles you want to put in there and things like that. So we do a week of proposals like this. And then those proposals, Australia would be great.
Oh, yeah, I saw this one this morning.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah. So then we take these proposals after on Tuesday morning, I think it closes. So get them in before Tuesday morning. And then it'll show up later on during the voting phase or the commit phase where you're committing lore to whichever one you want to vote for. It'll show up as one of these lines, right? So then you got to find yours. It'll probably be at the bottom since it's brand new, but it's ranked by whatever you click on up here, right? So if you click on lore or unique voters, yours will be at the bottom probably because no one's voted on it yet. So get your buddies to go vote on it. Go grab somebody from a different community that's interested, get them to vote on it. And then you're off to the races. And if you don't win, it'll stay there. And the votes will stay there till next month. And eventually it'll make its way up to the top. That kind of thing. So that's the process that's open now. And it reopens every month at the beginning of the month. And closes at the end of the month with new layers. So let's see here.
Which also means that if you get if you go ahead and propose a layer and it doesn't gain a whole mountain of traction right at the beginning, definitely keep watching it. Go vote it up every time the LCP comes up. Because eventually, after a while, it'll hopefully gain enough traction to become a layer. So I'm sure a lot of them people will post them and then they'll not get it immediately. And I'm sure a lot of people then just kind of don't look at it after that. Because I know we have a bunch of them in the actual voting pool right now.
Let me come back out to this main post that I was in. Or I thought I was in. Here we go. All right, let's bring VKB up. That'll be great. Add to stream. Here you go. Hey, can you hear us and can we hear you? Let's get a test. Test.
Hello.
Good morning.
Oh, yeah. There you are. You're a little bit quiet, but we can hear you. I'm going to turn my volume up a little bit. How are you? What time is it there?
Hello, Dave. I'm fine. It's near about 10 p.m. here.
Oh, okay. 10 p.m. So you're all...
No, 8 p.m. 8 p.m.
Oh, 8 p.m.
It's
all right.
8 p.m.
I was like, oh, okay. Up late. Well, cool. So this is your end of day show then in that case.
Oh, I missed it. What time was it?
Yes.
Oh, he said it's 8 p.m. there.
Oh, that's wild.
And yeah, so VKB's been pretty active on Den lately. Thank you for that, sir. And I've been noticing India's got some interesting. There's a bunch of people in India, from India that are on Den, and I can't always keep up with what's going on from that demographic because I don't read the language. But we actually have do you often discuss with other people from India on Den? Is that something that you do, or are you just kind of independent and doing your own thing?
No, still I am independently doing things and trying to gather the support from others. But I didn't find anyone who is ready to chat because there is a energy issue. No one is ready to chat with you because it costs some amount of energy. So it's just a hi hello thing is going on.
Oh.
Normally the people want to hide their identity, so no one is telling from where he or she is.
What was that last part? I missed that last part. I'm sorry. I missed the last thing you said there, VKB. Are you still with us there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sure. I just heard something and I thought maybe it was. Yeah, I hear the horns now, so definitely. Very good. So what's your how do you like Den so far, and how long have you been using the platform? Do you mind if I just do a quick little 2 or 3 question interview with you?
Yes, I am okay with it.
Okay.
It's near about 20 days.
Okay. Good. Well, you've been pretty active over the 20 days. I've seen you around in different posts and stuff. And what do you
Yeah,
think of it so far? You know, it's as a new platform that's still being built. What's your opinion of Den? And what brought you in? How did you find it?
actually, I was going through some videos on YouTube to gather the information about cryptocurrencies, and then
Mm.
I come up with the video Full Value Den.
Ah, yes,
Yeah.
that full value
He
Dan.
is a
That
very
was a
good guy,
great.
and its are very useful and interesting. So I watch regularly. So from there, I get the idea of joining Den.Social.
If you're not familiar with Full Value Dan, guys, this YouTube channel here, and I'm just gonna pick any one of these videos to bring it up and show his channel. But let's see. This fella here, he has some of the best videos in my opinion, that describe sort of like how things work. Wouldn't you agree, VK, that he sort of breaks things down logically, not not so much in a like there's not as much of a spectacle and like, oh, get rich quick, that kind of thing. He actually explains how things work. He does his
Yeah,
research.
yeah. In explaining things, he is very honest. That's why I used to watch her videos.
Yep.
That's good.
I found him through I was trying to figure out back when the whole DeFi craze was there were so many different scams running on DeFi, and there was hot dog token and pancake swap and sushi and all these food based tokens. I don't know if maybe around the middle of last year or so. And Full Value Dan did a really good video on like basically how that works. How are all these people making all these like scam coins, and how do they like create an economy in a flash just to make it look like there's a bunch of people holding the token to make it exciting. And it really helps as for me, like not investment advice, but it really helps to understand like how a scam works whenever you're investing in something to be able to avoid it, right? You can't avoid it if you don't know how to recognize it, that kind of thing.
Yeah, after watching values of videos from Value Den, I recognize how to analyze the new coins that are coming up in the market. Before that, actually, I have lost a decent amount of money in some meme coins.
Yeah. There's I mean I've bought and sold my share of meme coins, but I knew what I was getting into. But yeah, it's definitely it's a tool set for you going into, if you're someone in the space that's interested and you want to watch a bunch of YouTube videos to get caught up on what to look for. This is a great place to start as a jumping off point
That's good.
for
I actually
sure.
need somebody genuinely to just kind of go through and watch. So that's actually a good idea.
Yep, that'd be
Okay.
great.
See, even
So are
I get
you
the info from coffee.
um are you voting on any layers coming up this month, VKB? We have the committal phase in a couple of weeks. Were you able to get in on last month's round to get any ownership tokens of any of the layers? And we're,
No, last month I didn't get a chance
okay.
because I didn't understand what is going on. Then what is this layer ownership? So after that,
Yeah,
I
that's
go through the white paper of Dan and some other videos, your old videos. I have also gone through. So after that, I am getting ideas. Okay, yeah, this is the thing. That's how Dan is working and what are the benefits of voting, having law, and how to use them efficiently.
that's a good point because that is a learning curve for new users. And I wouldn't even expect, honestly, I wouldn't expect new users to even know that they have lore, right? Because it's not something you know right away. That if you have Matter in your wallet, then you automatically get lore credited to you as well. So then every user gets to use that lore uh, to vote on content. And in fact, where is it? I've got a snapshot right here. So in the DIN layer, it shows the snapshots of what gets paid out on the lower side of things. And this is what's going out to every denizen, depending on how much. This is the farming results basically. And oh, by the way, we're adding matter, lore, and probably dragon liquidity in the next update as well. Y'all weird. You want to come up? I saw you pop in. Give me a thumbs up if you want to, or if you want to wait for a second to get situated.
I think he was saying that he was feeling rough.
Yeah, but he came in anyway.
Oh, cool.
He'll be
So cool. Yeah.
fine.
By the
He'll be
time the next committal phase comes around, everybody will have lore to put into that, and you can go vote on stuff.
Hey, really quick, is VKB the first person that we've had that's actually popped in
Yeah,
on
I
stream
think
as
so.
a guest? Hey,
think
congrats
so.
on being the first one to pop in on coffee.
Thank you, very much. I am glad I am the first one.
That's awesome. That's actually really cool.
All right, I'm going to bring the second one up. Tristan, you're coming up. Ready or not? Hello, sir.
Put some pants on, Tristan.
Let me hide this.
A
Are you
child
with us yet,
is
sir? Are you up there?
He's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh crap, I'm on stream.
I can't hear you guys. I don't know if you can hear me.
Oh, okay. We can hear you. We can hear you. That's fine. What I can do though is I can drop you back out while you troubleshoot if you want, Tristan. But he can't hear me say that. I'll leave him up there. Here's what I'm going to do. Let me bring this back up, and then I want to go through the comments that people have left, and then I want to go through the new layer proposals.
He's just poking the screen.
Cool. So let's see what we've got. We've got a meme that says, reading about crypto, reading about anything else. Yeah, crypto will suck you in, man. I don't know. John and David, I've been kind of
Right now.
getting you into the crypto sphere a little bit. How has that been? Are you finding yourself getting like sucked into the
Lost?
topic to where you can't stop reading about it, like Luigi
Not
there?
just yet. I have to. I like we were talking about yesterday. I need time. So after the end of January, I should have time to sit down and pour through a whole bunch of crypto stuff and put more of it into my brain than I already have in there.
Yeah, I feel you there. The actual question is, will it be possible to post our videos and make, and are there any plans to post them not through YouTube? Yeah, I answered that one already, but something that Joe mentioned on Super Happy yesterday was that is on the list for 2022. So I don't know when this year, but right now, if you're not familiar with what, how do you pronounce that? Vimelo? If you're not familiar with what Vimelo is talking about, right now, if you go, let me go to a different tab so I can keep this on. Perfect.
That's another user side note that posts stuff all the time. I
Yeah.
hear say that name constantly.
I'll go over this too, but let's just go into Den, for example, and let's act like I'm posting my Coffee with Den episode, right? So like Coffee episode 12. And then if I want to add a video here, I have to add a video that has a URL. It's hosted somewhere else. And so I'll go to YouTube, maybe this full value Dan video is what I'm posting. And then I'll, hit share and I'll grab that link right there, copy. And then I'll come back over to wherever I just was. Yeah. Paste that in there, right? There's the YouTube video link. And I'll hit the plus button. You have to make sure you hit this plus button or it does not go in. You do that, and sometimes, all the time, it shows up funny like that, but that's how you get a video in there. And then when you post it, I say something, and I'm just going to post this crap in Den right now and delete it, but you post it and it comes up, and that's how you get a video in your post for now. Oh, I have it organized wrong. Hold on. Yeah. So then you've got your video, and it plays, embedded like that. So obviously that's a workaround for not having native video support. Obviously photos work, but videos don't. So yeah, to answer the question, we're talking about bringing in, we want to make sure it's done right, and we don't want to just do it the same way that it's been done before. We want to make sure there's a reason for every single decision that we make, and it's not just like arbitrary just to get something in there, So the YouTube link, that also, just to note, if you put a SoundCloud link in there instead of a YouTube link, like to a song or a playlist, it's got to be a direct link. That'll also embed and that'll also work. And I think maybe BitChute works too. I'm not sure. So try out SoundCloud links too. I'm going to bring Y'all Weird back up and see if he's able to hear us now. Hello, sir. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Fantastic.
Better.
All right.
So this is the guy who I see the bumper stickers for around town.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I've
You haven't
literally
met
never
before.
spoken to you before. Hi.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Finally, yes. I've definitely heard your name a few hundred times.
So yeah, this is Y'all Weird. This is Tristan. Y'all Weird made the Enter the Dragon outro song that you hear at the end of this episode or at the end of the governance calls, right? So Tristan or Y'all Weird wrote and performed and recorded and edited, mixed, mastered, all that single-handedly.
And currently has a very nice collection of guitars. I can see.
And he minted it as an NFT as well. It's been bought already, so you have to go make an offer on it if you want it. So yeah, welcome. How you feeling? I know you're under the weather right now.
I'm feeling okay. I'm faring the best out of my family right now. Megan's got it real bad.
Oof. All right. Well, I don't live too far from you. Let us know if you need something, of course.
Yes, sir, I will.
You know what's interesting, and I won't get too far off on the sidebar, but Gainesville, man, our hometown. 4 out of 5 of us are from Gainesville on this screen right now. So I'm pretty excited about what we're doing here because later this month we're going to be the idea long term is to experiment with some local events that use the Den app for everything, payments and tipping and planning and organizing and decision making, and actually get some feedback on how that works in the real world. And in the end, I want to make a blueprint. We want to make a blueprint for any other city or any other person who is good at event planning, who has some experience that wants to pick it up or doesn't have any experience, literally instructions on how to spin up a Den community in your own town, which is great because the more people that do that, the more exponentially useful and the app becomes, but also like scarcity in the token and utility in the token and things like that. That's 2022 is the push there.
And it should be a wild ride.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let me bring this back up and go to the next question. Would you be able to talk a little bit about using MetaMask and how to make it more secure? I know I've already asked the same question on the upcoming analysis episode of World Blockchain Roundtable and the Super Happy Dragon Lucky Show as well, but I would love for new users to be aware of potential security threats, especially since Rockstar, one of our denizens, recently had her funds stolen from her wallet, and that is very unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
and sorry to keep bringing it up. Jacob Wayne says, Rockstar, I just wanted there to be some info out there for all denizens alike. Yeah, I can't do a deep dive on it right now. Part of that is because I think my browser blocked from view some things in MetaMask that I try to share. And I'm actually not sharing something that I have MetaMask installed on. But what I can say is that MetaMask is the only wallet that we officially support right now. You can technically use whatever you want if you know how to do, if you know what you're doing. But if you go to, here's what could I do? Tristan, Y'all Weird, what should I like? This might be something that you're better at than me, but what should a new user know about MetaMask and how to keep it secure? There's the obvious hardware wallet question, which some people find cumbersome and are a little bit afraid of, but it's worth it for the security. Can you give any MetaMask tips? Y'all Weird?
Well, obviously the first thing is you never give your seed phrase away.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's the most important thing you can do. But
I forgot there are scams out there asking for your seed phrase. I forgot about that.
Didn't you say there was a bug?
But if you're familiar with DBank, DBank is a really cool like kind of portfolio tracker.
Oh, okay.
But it'll actually show you. It's one of the only portfolio trackers I've seen that shows you what you've approved, and you can from that site you can actually shut those approvals off. So
no
like
kidding.
whenever you go to swap something, let's say I had some USDT and I was buying some Matter with it. on whatever exchange I'm doing that on, I'm approving a certain amount of tokens to be spent for my wallet. Well, some of those can be a little shady, especially if you're not using Uniswap, if you're using something weird and obscure. Sometimes the contract just slips it right past you, and you've given them infinite amount of, usually it's only one token, but exactly. So if you go to DBank, I think it's dbank.io. Let me just check the link. I guess it's dbank.com.
Okay, let me see here.
I was just over there.
And there's a tab called approvals, and you can look into that and see what you've approved.
So that's different than like a website like Xerion, which will do a lot of great things and show you history, but it won't show you the approvals and things like that. So this is the one you're talking about?
Yep, it's like Xerion on crack. The only problem I have with DBank is they will not track Dragon, which annoys me because literally every other portfolio tracker does.
I wonder if that's,
and I would just,
it's not on V3 or it's only on Uniswap and only on one, like three exchanges. I don't know.
You can go through the token proposals. You'll see that I put one in for Dragon when I noticed my balance was showing 0. I was like, what the hell is that? It's impossible. And they said, we don't add tokens with low liquidity.
Oh,
I mean, they've got like all these phantom things, degen plays I'm doing that tokens were made like 6 hours ago. It's got them all. It's got all those, but it doesn't have Dragon. It drives me crazy.
That's probably something that they decided during a time when they needed to figure out how to quickly filter out a bunch of crap. I can see that being a decision that was made to be like, okay, we're seeing, let's say 80% of these things that we see that are flash scam coins are low liquidity, so that whenever somebody does buy, the price goes up extremely quickly, which is, people design it that way. So maybe that's, I always try to not assume somebody is being intentionally damaging to us, but that's my theory.
There's literally things with $16,000 market caps on there.
Got you.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Odd. I don't know. Well, if you're anybody who's got contacts at DBank and you're watching this, ask them, what the hell, man? What are you doing over there?
I missed most of that. I just got completely distracted exploring that website.
I mean, you can't not track America's blockchain. Give me a break. So there's a tip. Don't give away your your seed phrase, which is the thing that it tells you to write down when you open up your MetaMask. It has all the words. Do keep that secure for yourself. Do not lose it. If anything ever happens to your computer and you need access to your account, you need that seed phrase. But that's exactly why you don't give it away, because anybody with it can take your money. Basically, that is the key to your assets. And that's the same thing for private keys, but you got to dig a little bit harder in MetaMask to find your private keys. So a new user wouldn't even know those exist, probably, based on the interface.
I need to back that up.
So there's a couple of good tips. Get a hardware wallet. It could be a Trezor or a Ledger. Learn how to use that. I've got a whole bunch of different wallets and different MetaMask extensions on different browsers. My strategy is to keep a little bit, like I do a lot all the time where I need access to stuff. So I keep a little bit on a couple of different computers so that I have, a little bit of ether here and there to spend on gas if I need something or whatever. But the bulk of my stuff, hardware wallet. And if you want to get really secure for long-term storage and stuff like things that you're really not going to need to access for a while, you might not even keep them in MetaMask at all. You might do something like, get a hardware wallet, and you could even create an address offline to where there's no chance that like some virus is snooping on your screen and like keylogging your whatever you're typing in, and you can send that. There's a company called Billfoddle, like a billfold, and they make these metal wallets. It's just a metal wallet that I'll cover up the side that has letters on it, but it opens up. It's a stainless steel. You can't burn it. You can't destroy it very easily. It can survive your house fire, and you can put your seed phrase on there, and then lock that in a safe. Put it, if you trust the banks at all, you can use a safe deposit box So I would say my tip is think about short-term and long-term, and your long-term investments, put them in cold storage. Just don't even have them connected to the internet at all. We used to call it sneaker net in the Navy because you'd have to put on your sneakers and get a thumb drive and transfer it between two computers. The sneaker net. So yeah, that's my tip. Any more tips before we move on to the next one?
I actually just in MetaMask, there's that 3 little bars at the top right whenever you're logged in, whenever you're looking at your assets.
Mm-hmm.
There's the button called Connected Sites, which I knew about a while ago and actually forgot. But you can go through here and actually disconnect from sites that you don't trust that you've connected to in the past while you're doing dumb stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, scrub those
I forgot all about that.
What y'all weird was talking about a minute ago was a lot of times whenever you're interacting, especially with new websites, they're Web3 enabled, which is a hot term right now. Cool stuff. MetaMask is a great start to having like easy user interface to that. But what you got to do is you got to sign a message saying, yes, I give you access to all of these things in my wallet. And the person who's writing that website gets to decide what access they want. It's kind of like when you download a new app on your phone and it says, we need access to record your microphone, but it's a calculator app, right? And you're like, why do you need access to my camera or microphone to do math? What do you, like think about the permissions that you're giving the website when you click that button saying, yes, connect. Usually it's just, we need to be able to read the contents of your wallet so that we know how to give you a quote whenever you want to say, I want to spend this much money. We got to make sure you have it and yada, yada. If it says stuff like, allows access to spend your funds, that's also relatively normal sometimes whenever you go to things like a decentralized exchange. So it's scary. Be careful and maybe just don't leave everything connected. I know sometimes I'll go to a site that I haven't been to in months and I'll already be connected to the site, like that token remains. So that's a good tip too. Scrub your connections.
Yeah, I did not know that was a thing.
So VKB, we got one of yours up here. I'm going to go through it while you're with us live. How's that? Some ordinary questions. And also, you give great questions too. I appreciate your feedback a lot because it helps me think about what to explain. So, can someone have more than one account on Den.Social? Yes, absolutely. The issue you're going to run into there is there are like malicious activity detection systems that keep an eye on things. So if you have multiple accounts, you may accidentally get snagged by that, and all that means is it'll lock your account for withdrawal. Like you can't take MTR out. It'll say like contact support in your wallet whenever you do that. What you've got to do is you've got to have a reason to have multiple accounts. Typically, like one reason, for example, is if you have a company and you want branding, but you also want your company to have, like, for example, Gravity Crab and I, right? We each have an account on Den, but we may want a company account like Ormco as the company's like official messaging, that kind of thing. And then, for example, John would have his own account, but then he also wants to open up an improv community. And maybe there's a business name for branding where there's a second account he uses just for the official stuff. So, people don't have to follow the individual if they don't want to, but they can follow the company. Things like that, totally fine. If you want to have a parody account, like, hey, here's my personal account, which is my personal opinions and yada, yada. But I also have this thing called the Colbert Report, which is a parody, where I pretend like I'm a Republican and I make fun of it and yada, yada. So I want this parody account. That's a good example of like Stephen Colbert and Stephen Colbert there's the person and the character. And so that person can have two accounts. One of them is more of a branding or that kind of thing. But the best thing to do is just to shoot an email to support saying that you're, spinning up a second account. If you get any kind of warnings, in your settings or I think it would be in your wallet. Let me go look right now. So you would go to here, internal balances here. And I think whenever you go to transfer, it would give you a message saying that your account's locked or something. And that's just because, like two accounts. There's so much like random stuff that people do that's a common thing that gets you caught up in that, like a false positive. So no, we can facilitate that for sure. Where is the question I was just on though? So yeah, multiple accounts is fine. Just have a purpose for them, you know. And basically everything that you do is fine as long as it is not illegal or like violating the terms of service, which is basically, you know, don't be a dick and you'll be fine. Don't try to cheat. But if you do and you find some way to cheat that isn't supposed to happen, let us know, you know, that kind of thing. And then everything is good. Like really, just be a decent person and you'll be fine, you know.
Be a good denizen.
How do you identify if someone having multiple accounts on Den, or is he or she just upvote or downvote, give receipt tips to a particular account? All right. So I think BKB, correct me if I'm wrong here, but basically you're asking like, how would you know if somebody had a different account? Is it because that person only upvotes, like let's say you have a bunch of puppet accounts where you open up 5 accounts and all those accounts just vote on yours to artificially boost your numbers and stuff like that? That is something that will be found. That's something that we have found in the past. And that's typically considered, that is considered exploiting the algorithm, because the system will allow you to do it for a little while, but then it'll catch you and you'll stop being able to do that. Or I'm not going to like explain exactly how everything gets caught, because then I'm just telling people how to get around it. But we have ways. How do you identify? With ways, I guess. And if there's ever a dispute, it's just something that we talk about over support channel, come to a conclusion. You know, if the system was wrong, then it's fine. If the system was right, then you can screw off. You know, and it's just very objective, and it's not like a personal thing. It's just kind of like everything that you do is on chain. Every vote, every post, reply is on the blockchain. So we have access to see, you know, if there's any weird patterns or, you know, stuff like that. Number 3, if my family members have an account, and obviously they will upvote me always with much energy, irrespective of my content, in this family case, would it be okay, or would it be a negative effect on matter earning? I think that'll be okay. There is a chance that'll get flagged, but it's not a problem. We have plenty of people that have, even like John, if you were to come in, or rather when you come in and open your improv layer, you're going to bring people into Den that only know who you are. And so naturally, those people are going to interact with you, and your friends are going to upvote your content. They're going to be, oh, John posted something, upvote, you know. So that's not malicious at all. That's a natural, you know, and eventually those people will get to know Den more, and eventually those people will spread out into different layers and get involved with other stuff. But yeah, in the beginning, that is a case that that we see. And if you do run into that problem, just email support and say, here's why it looks like I've got a bunch of puppet accounts. It's just because they're all in my same house using, you know, my same computer, and and they know me, so they vote on it because we're friends and family. So no, I don't think that'll be a problem. I do think that eventually you'll run into a situation where you might have to just contact email support and just explain to them. Number 4, in layer creation process, who are unique voters? How many of unique voters are there? So that's over in the LCP when you're voting. You'll see lore and unique voters. So right now we have it set to where there's 2 winners every month. And one of those winners comes from this lore button list. And the other winner comes from this unique voters list. And it's the same layers, but what you're seeing is lore versus unique voters. So you can read this as, among 67 different users, different accounts, those 67 people have put in a total of 3.5 million lore. Because if you see, like here, I've signaled 150,000. So you can put as much lore in as you want. You don't have to just vote once. As you use Den, you'll get rewarded in lore as a behavior reward. If you are a good denizen and you don't do the things that are as the things that pay you out anyway. You get lore from that as well as an additional bonus based on based on behavior, I guess. But then you can put as many of that per layer as you want when you're voting. So you might vote 1 million, right? So that's what unique voters literally just means: 67 different user accounts, on this one layer. And then lore is just, it ignores that. It doesn't care how many people. It's just saying, okay, let's sort from most lore to least lore. So in this case, advice won, but they also won over in the unique voter side because they had more unique voters than everyone else. So that's what that is. Oh. Right, next. What we got? Does that make sense? VKB, you still with us?
Okay. Yes, Dave. Thank you very much. For
Okay, cool.
seriously
Awesome.
answering my every question.
Awesome. So Foost, Foost says, is it possible to create a layer with different layout? For example, sub-layers within a motorcycle layer for guys to discuss certain model of bike, or a Reddit-like layout. Most post conversations seem short-lived, but topics.
So what do you think? Do you think he
Says,
froze?
yeah, anything's
gonna say,
possible.
did you
The
pause,
thing
or did
that I
you-
think we're going to do is...
You're clicking in and out.
Oh, what were you saying? You froze up there a little bit.
You're
Gravity Crab, what were you saying?
flashing in and out. Yeah, it's you.
Oh, am I? Oh, it's me. Okay. Let me
It seems
do
like you're
something real quick.
back now.
Yeah, you seem okay at the moment.
Oh, well, then I'll just roll with it. I was noticing earlier this morning my internet was a little bit iffy, so I don't know. There might be a thing.
You're
I
ridiculously
know utilities are working
fast
on some
internet
stuff
is
at the
iffy.
polls. Or maybe DragonNet's on fire, and because I run my nodes from home.
That's all
it could be,
for all we know.
it could be that it's busy. I got Oxen and DragonNet, and what else is running out of this house? A lot of shit.
Yeah, actually.
All right. So is it possible to create a layer with different layout? For example, sublayers. Yeah. So the way we're going to do it is, I think, and this is speculation, but I think this is how we're going to do it. But based on conversations about tags that we've had internally, these tags right now, they are in a first pass sort of phase where they work, they're in there. We're making sure everyone understands how you vote on them and how you interact with tags, which is that it's a reward system, just like everything else. Just like if I were to vote on Foost, which I will now, and I say, man, not only is this relevant, which is my first click, right? This is why they're separate. The first one, up one, that's all you can do with the arrows. That's just signaling, yes, no. Is this relevant? And then I'm going to say, that's a great question. So I'm going to give them I've got a bunch of energy. It's first thing in the morning. So I'm going to give you 1,500. Cool. And then I'll go through and I'll probably give everybody the same amount just to keep it fair. Or I might give others more. I don't know. It depends on what I think. It's a subjective measurement, right? So everyone does that. And then there's a consensus. So if 13 people agree, then it's determined, yeah, that's good content kind of thing. We do the same thing on tags. Whenever you click on, for example, Street Meat down here has question as the tag, and there's a star next to it, which that star, if you see that, it just means that the original poster created that tag. So I vote on it, up or down. All right. Click once, I get a thumbs up. Click twice, I get a thumbs down. Click again, and it goes away. My vote goes away. So if I vote this up, which it is an appropriate tag because it's a question that was laid out for me, and other people come in and they vote that up, I actually get rewarded in matter for saying, yep, that's an appropriate tag. Same thing goes for if it's an inappropriate tag. And eventually the tag will go away if enough people vote on it. And then you get rewarded for consensus. Everyone agrees with you, that kind of thing.
Which is a good way to filter some stuff as well. If you're going through and you see a bunch of the layers that you happen to be in have a whole lot of just stuff, you can go through and vote down some of the tags that just don't really apply.
Mm-hmm. And so that's phase one. The next thing that we need to do is get it to where, and this I think will effectively do the same thing that you're asking about, which is get sublayers going on. So if if we were in a different layer and there was a category, bikes, for example, is that the example? Yeah, model of bike. So let's say you have different tags for different manufacturers or models of bikes. Well, you should be able to click on that tag and filter by that tag, and then only show me things that are filtered by that tag. And so now your layer does become a sublayer. And maybe you only want to see Honda and Kawasaki and I don't know, Yamaha Hyundai or whoever they are, all these different manufacturers, and you have your favorite ones. So you should, be able to pick which tags you care about and just see that. And that'll effectively give you whatever sublayer you want. Nobody has to decide, here's the sublayers we're going to have. It's just you slice it up however you want. And maybe you just filter out completely the tags you don't care about out of that layer. Does that make sense to everybody, the way I explained that?
Yeah, that works.
Word. So
Yeah,
I think
makes
that's the way
sense
that's
to me.
going. Let me make sure that I vote on these two. I don't want anybody to think that I'm leaving them out. So let's see. 15, and that's original, and that is a question. So let me go up here again. I'm going to vote on Jacob Wayne, which I have not yet. So we'll go here, give you the same amount. Yep, that's original, and it's a question. And then the same thing I'll do here. Vumilo. Yeah. You notice every time I do this, I have to put the slider a little bit farther to the right because it's this bar is a Fibonacci of whatever your total energy is. So right now, the far end of it is 6,000. A minute ago, it was 12,000. So that changes based on how much energy you have. Just a little side note. All right, two more real quick. Street Meat asks, on the layers topic, I have a question for you and each of the hosts. What layers are you passionate about creating via a layer you plan to propose or have proposed, or voting on an existing proposal?
Oh, this one will be fun. Okay.
Mm-hmm. John, you want to talk about your layer you're going to be that you're proposing for
John's
improv?
should start first. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
John's
an improv guy, and he's a really good one.
So pre-pandemic, I managed an improv theater in Gainesville. And I thought it'd be cool. The big problem was finding a way for us to communicate and disseminate information. Because not everybody has Facebook Messenger, and then not everybody has WhatsApp, and not everybody has whatever it is. Some people check their email and some people don't. So there was no good way. So we ended up using Discord, which didn't really work. I would just message everybody on Discord, on Facebook, on text message. I'd call somebody. I had to basically communicate with everybody in their individual manner, and it just wasn't helpful or really a great way. So I thought having a layer would be fun. One, it's an easy, hey, this is the one place I'm going to put it all. Here it is. And then before I was doing a lot of stuff for free, where I do a free workshop or whatever it was, just because I enjoy doing it and I like helping out the community and things like that. So I thought it'd be fun if hey, it's a free workshop, whatever, but if you want to tip me, you can only tip me in matter and energy.
Gotcha.
And if you want to be involved in the community, know what's going on, contribute to discussions, we're going to be on Den. And be oh, I really want to talk to you and contribute. Great. Then go be on Den. I don't want to be on Den. All right. Well, then don't.
I'm sorry.
That's just
what's cool about that is you could even say oh, we have our own app, and then literally everyone could only subscribe to the one layer, and they would think of Den as the improv website.
Just the improv app that I open.
Yeah,
tells me
the improv app, right? That kind of thing.
Exactly. And I like it better than using a lot of other kind of places. One, you're generating revenue and community. It's already a built and put together platform, so I'm not having to start an email chain or some shit like that. Discord was cool and all, but nobody only gamers knew Discord and knew how to use it, or people that use Slack.
That's a good point.
For work.
It's also kind of a pain to use, I want to point out.
Yeah, it's not. Some stuff
The
is
app
easy.
is
Some
not
stuff
great.
is not. You gotta like have the.
It's built for gamers,
It's just
first of all. I think that's goes into it.
yeah. It's built for
Purpose
gamers, and
built.
then it's similar to Slack. So like my like theater people that are doing improv, they don't use this. They don't enjoy it, and they don't have any other reason to use it besides my improv thing. Whereas opposed to like Den, like it adds other value besides just being a thread platform.
It also it touches on something you mentioned a little while ago too. Is you say that you were doing a lot of it for free, and it kind of solves two issues. One, it's let's be honest, it's hard to. Oh, Dave has vanished. It's hard to have a group of people willing to give you money for something that you are passionate about. It's just a difficult process. Like you can't. It's hard to just post up and say, "Hey, I'm going to be doing this workshop. You know, all these people should come check it out," and then you just end up having a bunch of people that show up and you don't make anything off of it, and you've just spent hours of your time for nothing. So
Yeah, sorry about that. I
just
guess I
having
had
an
a little-
area that will actually hopefully pay you out something for the work you put in is nice too.
How am I
Well,
coming
I
through
think
now?
it's,
I reset it.
You're coming out.
You sound good. Like I think, like honestly, like nobody does improv to make money. You do it because you enjoy it and you like it. It adds other skills. And like when the way you make money in it is by doing like workshops, like corporate workshops and stuff like that. If you really want to try to make money doing it,
So that's an industry I know nothing about. So
yeah, I will. It's like a lot of other things, but like what I like about it is, I mean, this is also just like a way to use the coin in another fashion. Like, I think it's
Extra
just kind
utility
of
on it.
yeah, it's just kind of
Yeah,
a
every
cool
time you use it for
way.
something different, you add utility, which adds a reason to use it, right, or a reason to obtain it. But it also adds scarcity and makes it a little bit difficult to get like a whole coin, for example, that kind of thing.
So one of the things I also like did charge for was like I did like individual coaching for teams and stuff like that in Gainesville, which like, you know, they were like sometimes they would like practice in my house and stuff like that. Like, okay, so like you're renting my house and I'm coaching, like I've got to make a couple bucks here.
oh yeah.
And what I like about using matter and energy is that you're just tipping out your involvement. Like I'm really involved in improv online. I can tip using that. So like there's
Yeah,
an
you can tip
incentive
using
for you to be
you've
involved
done-
with me because like hypothetically in your head, whether or not the math works out, like you could just pay for coaching with comments on the internet.
Right, and that's
really
that's
can.
awesome. It's a good way to look at it because, like, really, everybody is doing work all the time for free. They just don't think of it that way. You know, any amount of time you spend using your brain to type words into the computer that somebody else then responds to is an amount of effort and work that is always monetized, but just not for you. You know, it's sort of like I think of it as extracting value from disparate communities. You know, just like I'll use Facebook for an example. They do a really good job of extracting value out of people, right? And that's really what they're doing is they're creating something that, at least at first, was pretty useful. They still got a pretty good events system over there for like putting on a local show or something.
Yeah, the events page is
But
nice.
really what they're doing is they created something that people either wanted or needed. I remember in my case, I was using Messenger because I needed it. I was didn't have a good way to communicate, and that was a way. But then like all of the data mining, I remember when I was doing more shows in Gainesville, I used Facebook and I would pay for targeted advertising. And it was sickening to me because I knew what I was doing, you know, and it was literally taking advantage of people who didn't realize how much personal data they were giving up. And if you give Facebook any amount of money, they will offer to, you know, direct whatever your words are to a particular demographic. So if I want to show, not to get into it too deeply, but like if I wanted to show something only to women of a certain age group or only to people who have a certain lifestyle, who, you know, go to a certain bar or live in a certain town or a certain part of town. You can totally do that. And you're paying Facebook for that. You're not paying the people that you're targeting. You know, they're not getting anything out of it, but there's value there that they're giving up without understanding that they give it up. And that's really where I find, like, I don't know, it's where I get pissed off at companies, because I need value to stay in Gainesville, for example. I need people's efforts and value to stay here. And so Den is a way to, like, okay, look, you're already doing this stuff for free. Let's do it. And then also for doing it here, you can then use your effort. You can capture the value of your effort to some extent, and then use that as money, right? So that is special.
Yeah.
What about you, David? Do you have any layers you're particularly interested in either starting
Let's
or voting
see.
on?
Right now, in the layer creation, like in the little voting area, there's a layer called Internet Wonders, and it's kind of been something that I really like the idea of. So I spend more time than I would like to admit, usually when substances are involved, in the evening, watching just people that have discovered something absolutely freaking bizarre on the internet. Like finding out that a video game that came out a while back called Kanye Quest, right, is actually like has a weird whole sub game in it that is about
Interesting.
recruiting you into a cult.
It's just a thing that exists on
It's-
the internet, huh?
Somebody found it like 6 years after the game came out. They the guy asked a question. He's like, "What do you want to do?" And if you type in the word "ascend," it takes you to a whole different section of the game. It was
Descend?
wild.
Oh.
Ascend.
Ascend.
So yeah, that sounds better than descend.
I'm looking through it. I can't find it right now. It's called Internet Wonders.
Yeah, Internet Wonders. It's like number 60 something, but it's just
16?
60.
60.
Yeah, it's far down there. But I feel like it could be a place where just strange stuff gets posted, and I would spend hours looking through that. So I would love that place to show up.
Dope.
And that's about that, and I would really like us to get the gaming layer into a good position.
Yeah, the gaming layer is something
Not that
that
we have much pull in it realistically without jumping in and
useful.
making a whole bunch of content, but
Oh, there I see it. Internet Wonders. Yep.
Mhm.
There's one voter.
That's me.
Right on. Cool. Let me pull that up real quick. So there's one.
Use your clout to get Internet Wonders going.
Come on,
Let's
let's
do it,
go.
boys.
Plus, what do you think I'm doing, man? I'm using my clout. Look at
Let's
that.
go.
All of our,
I'm gonna
all
go
of
buy
our
some
I
stand-
don't know how much
Wonder
clout
Bread.
I have. I just have a little show in the morning. But yeah, there's Internet Wonders. Go look at some of the bottom ones, because I have voted on some of the bottom ones too, because I think one day they'll end up at the top and they'll get in.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's why I saw this and was like, "Oh, I'm going to jump in on this now," because at some point somebody will make this go up. That's why I was saying earlier, like even if you propose stuff and it sits at the bottom for like 4 months, it's going to move up at some point. Somebody's going to be interested in it. I mean, that's just the nature of the internet.
Yep. Y'all weird. You back with us? Do you have any layers you're specifically interested in, like voting on, creating, getting more involved with, supporting, owning, stuff like that?
I'm just paying attention and seeing what's next on the list right now. There's a lot in there that I like. I like your Linux layer. I'm kind of hoping that gets high enough to.
God,
Yep.
that needs to be a
For me
thing.
to
Oh, here's a
vote
new
in.
one from 1 minute ago from Mark Clements.
Oh, what was proposed a minute ago?
Mark was creating one while we were talking about him.
Well.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you. What were you saying? Y'all weird?
I'm just. I like the Linux layer. That's what I'm voting for.
Yeah, I think the Linux layer needs to be a thing.
Yeah,
I'm
this
kind of
one here.
surprised it's not already a thing, to be honest.
Well, I mean, there's several Linux fans that are working on Den, and it's less about us than it is about everyone. So I wanted to not be like, I don't know. I just haven't got around to it. I was making some shit up just now, but really I hadn't got around to it.
to be honest,
So
I mentioned
everybody know who these
essentially
people
a
are?
while ago.
David, you'll know. Who's this?
We got our lovely Lord and Founder Linus there. Richard
Mhm.
Stallman's off to the right there, looking like Robert Baratheon. And I know Snowden there, but I still to this don't know who this guy on the right is.
Yeah, so that's this guy on the right
I
is
probably should, realistically.
he's the journalist that the United States is extraditing and
Okay.
wants to imprison for life for embarrassing the U.S. for publishing the truth.
Okay. Gotcha.
He's from Australia, I think. Has done a lot of really great work with privacy, technology, systems that journalists can use to protect themselves when they're behind, let's say, lines of like opposition lines and things like that, where you need to get truthful data out without people knowing it, because they'll kill you, that kind of thing.
Which is terrifying.
So he's really famous for a website called WikiLeaks, which he founded. I think he was the founder of it. Anyway, he's like the main guy that people recognize anyway. So yeah, he has been holed up he was in the Ecuadorian embassy in the UK for long years. Couldn't leave the building. And now he's in a fight for his life to not come to the US. Well, where they will do the same thing that they did to, I don't want to get too political here, I guess, on this show, but you have a pattern of people being extradited and then committing suicide kind of thing. You saw that with McAfee. You saw that with
people that specifically have stated this is not something I'm going to do, and then it happens.
Right.
In a maximum security prison.
And it's the same thing. Like it's what, in fact, like whenever Chelsea Manning was imprisoned, she was used as an example of all people by Russia as a reason that they were granting asylum to Edward Snowden, because they were like, look what you're doing to Manning, right? He was confined to what do you call it? Solitary confinement for a long time. He wasn't treated well psychologically. It was, damaging for him. And so Russia was like, no, we'll keep him because you're going to do the same thing that you're doing to Manning, or you're going to do the same thing that you're doing to this person or that person. So it's a problem, So anyway, I wanted to put that up there because I happen to like the guy. I think that he's doing interesting things that aren't hurting. It's actually helping. So, and they're holding up a picture of Snowden right there. And then this guy, anybody know what this guy's name is?
I've never seen him in my life.
Bottom left, the penguin.
Never seen the penguin ever. Not a clue.
That's Tux.
Oh, I'm well aware of Tux.
Yeah, his name is Tux.
Hold on, I have a prop for this.
And then this is the GNU project over here. Cool. But I want to go through other people's stuff too.
I've got you ready? You remember that thing?
You said you were pissed off about something. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah.
You got something really burning your ass.
Ooh, it's a fun one for me.
Let's hear about it.
Yeah. So go to layers.
Oh, okay. This is an interactive
go to layers
thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's obvious. Go to layers.
That's nice.
And then go to the Christianity layer. Go to the Christianity layer.
Okay.
And this is not like a
there's Tux.
Annoyance at all. This layer is two people, and it's owned by one person apparently.
Let me see.
Okay, by one person,
James Rocco,
who has all of the lot.
Yeah,
and it's not even him. It's just one person every day posting of like a psalm or some shit, or like here's some whatever it is.
Yeah,
it's two people talking back and forth, going how great Christianity is.
Cool.
That's the whole layer.
Cool.
That's the whole layer.
Yeah.
And
sounds about right.
Yeah, I'm not joking.
So here's what I want to. I am interested in what your problem is with that. Here's why. Here's why I'm interested. There's a lot of layers that fit that description.
What I don't like is that you can't get any lot for this layer unless he gives it to you, right? Or you buy it.
That should be on. It should be on OpenSea. You could make an offer.
Yeah,
you go to the top of the layer and click.
Accept it.
You have to buy it. Yep.
Yeah, but that might be a good thing for him if he decides, hey, we need more people in this layer. What's the best way to do that? If you make an offer,
I'm gonna go make an offer for some lot in this layer. But that's what I don't like is that like there's no way for there to be an actual democracy in this layer unless he gives you lot.
That's absolutely true. Where did I put the window? Here it is. Yeah, totally. Yep.
Yeah.
So,
but this is what I don't.
So you can propose another Christianity layer.
Yes.
So I'm kind of okay with that fact that like he's like in that position, Um, but what I don't like is that there's nothing but it's not an active layer. Like if this was an active layer and this guy was doing a good job of listening to the community and like adding these guidelines without having to go through governance issues or whatever it is, like cool. Like he's just a benevolent dictator. I'll take it.
Mhm.
But
He's the Pope.
One of the really
he's not
cool things about
the Pope's got
um,
advisors. This is a
nice
guy
hat.
starting a cult, and there's 3 people eating the Kool-Aid.
so check it
That's
out.
what it is.
There's different types of layers. I don't know for sure right now, but I suspect that this was not an LCP layer, that it was a B2B layer. And whenever you have a business to business layer, whenever you like what you're talking about, for example, with improv, where you email the team, hey, I have this layer I want to start. Here's my vision for it. I need this many tokens for ownership, right? And then you literally have to send lore to the team to turn into lot, right? You can't just mint it. You got to actually send in the lore or tip the lore to create it to the Den account, wherever they direct you in the email. But 2 things. One is that if that's the way that this was created, then actually, yes, you can create more lot. Everything that goes through LCP that the community votes on, that's the maximum amount of ownership tokens that will ever exist for that layer, right? So Elon Musk layer, finite, no more lot ever being created. That's the end. The end number is however many it's got. With an B2B layer or a business layer, because you're theoretically, the way it's, the thinking is as a business, you're going to need flexibility, and there's going to be things that come up that maybe you didn't think of, and maybe you do need to make some more tokens. So for those layers, you absolutely can just mint more lot if you send in the lore to do it. And I'm going to do that, for example, with Gainesville. Gainesville, you can just as easily make fun of. Let's go there. And this is ironically the one layer that we're all a part of because we live here. But if you look at that, there's a picture of downtown, right? And then you come down to layer information, and it's me, benevolent dictator, nobody else.
Overlord,
you know what I mean?
Dave.
So this is, let's see. Now let's go to time. Let's see when the last time. So Caitlin posted on the 23rd, and then I know him. What is? I haven't even looked at this. Yeah, I met him up at I forget where. So
That's
that was
leader of Funks Inc. I think his name's Kevin Huntley.
Yes. Kevin Funks Inc. He recorded with Jerry. That's right. He was up at Skylab recording there is where I saw some of his albums on the wall. That's right. I knew him.
Yeah, dude has like 100 albums he's recorded. He's the hardest working rapper in Gainesville.
Really?
But then you've got 1216,
Yeah.
Caitlin again. And you've got 1211, Caitlin again. Thank you, Caitlin, for keeping Gainesville alive. You know what I mean? So really, you've got the one person posting is not even the owner, right? The hell is that? And there's like there's one guy who took a picture
Of
of a funny
store.
song of the vacuum store. Yeah. So
Different one.
that's the way that some layers are. Now here's what I'm doing. Is these 100,000 lot are all over on Ethereum. So if you go to OpenSea, all of these are out. I've removed them from Den, and they're all on Ethereum. What that means, and in hindsight, it was a mistake, but at the time, we didn't have the internal systems that we have because of all the gas fees. So what that means is I cannot tip that lot to anyone in the layer. And I imagine that James Rocco might be in the same situation. Because if it's on Ethereum, I have to pay like a $100 gas fee to send a token to somebody. You know what I mean? So I can do that. I can send you ownership, but I got to pay buttloads of money to do that. But since it's a business layer and there's a situation that I did not predict that came up, which is insane gas fees and, delaying Ethereum 2.0 forever. So now what we can do is I can actually, because it's not an LCP layer, I can send, and this is what my plan is. I'm going to send 100,000 lore to the team, to Den. Those lore are going to be converted to lot, and then I will have 200,000. Half of them will be in Den, and half of them will be over on Ethereum. So then I've got 200,000, and then I can start tipping people out, and that's the main thing. And so I'll be doing that at the shows. Everybody who comes out to one of the events gets a lot. So everybody who has a lot can vote on things in the Gainesville layer and that kind of thing. So yeah, and then one more example. Just
I can't go
ahead.
and I can't personally go and buy more Gainesville lore from Den though, right?
Not from Den.
Only you can.
Only from me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it doesn't help this Christianity layer, whatever it is, with the one. I don't know. I just think it's hilarious because in Gainesville, at least there's some stuff going on. But like in that layer, it's just one guy. It's some priest that's like, I'm gonna reach out. It's like part of his freaking vows or something.
No, we don't
It's
know.
like
For all we know, he's building a freaking church in the woods or some shit.
Yeah, maybe
My
you're pretending
we have
a little
no
bit
clue.
whatever is really going on. It's so much more fun to make things up than to actually know what's happening. But like,
Here's a layer
why I do
with
it
one
now.
owner too.
Yeah. All right. So like, scroll down.
We all know that owner.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
So this is somebody who was really, really excited about doing something on Den, and as soon as he opened up the layer, he just gave up and decided, now that I have it, I don't care anymore. So what you have is a bunch of people posting in Maker Layer that are not getting the kind of attention that they deserve because it's actually really good stuff. And it was a lesson learned. And I'll talk shit about the owner just because he's one of my best friends. He's squatting on a layer. He's taking up space and not earning any of the all matter that gets mined in this layer. A portion of that goes to the owner. So the one owner is getting that. I think it's 5%, right? Goes to the one owner. And so in the beginning, he just wanted to design it that way. He wanted all the ownership. He wanted complete control, and he said as much. And that's fine. The cool thing about the different layers is you can have any kind of government system you want in the end. You can have as many owners as you want or don't want if it's your own business layer. When you open it up and you pay to open up a layer, it's like, cool, here's exactly what I want. And, like if that's something that you can work with and you think is going to be successful, go for it. But that hasn't happened. And I think that there would have been a lot more success in this layer if he would have spread out the ownership a little bit. Ideally, you want to spread that out to people in different time zones because you're not always awake. And obviously to people that are contributors regularly. This Brian Defoe, if Brian Defoe keeps posting content in your layer and is obviously interested in doing something more with it, that person should get tipped out some ownership, some lot, so they can help not only keep an eye on the layer, but also vote on stuff. You know what I mean?
They already spend a lot of time there, so they should have might as well let them be.
Yeah. So that's what I would recommend.
Well, we could just get Dragonsloft to
give away some of
give
that
us
ownership.
his seed phrase.
Yeah.
We got to get his seed phrase.
passwords?
See, I'm out of the
Hey,
loop.
I'm
I'm the
sure-
only one that doesn't know who that is.
So no, John, you got a valid complaint. I'm just wanted to point out that there's more than just a Christianity layer that's a little bit low frequency. Is that
Yeah, but that's the thing is like, even in that one, at least other people are like commenting and putting like original stuff.
Mhm.
I just think it's hilarious that it's just one dude posting his like a snippet of his sermon every day.
You want original
which I think is
content in a Christian
So
layer?
in other words, it could have been that person
Yeah.
could have had a layer called daily devotional, and it would have been more accurate.
Oh.
Is what you're kind of getting at.
Exactly.
I see.
So what I don't
Or like
so
like a thing in that.
he's just
layer.
got dibs on the name Christianity now from now into perpetuity on Den.
I can
So-
see that.
Yeah.
I can see that being a problem for some people.
So yeah.
You could open another layer. This happens all the time. You have somebody who, the First Southern Baptist Church, and then you have the Second Southern Baptist Church over in Jacksonville, which is a real thing. Surprised me. But different people have vastly different opinions. And I'm not shitting on you for complaining, but like disagreeing about stuff is part of what makes the magic happen.
No, I want a hostile takeover of this layer. That's what I want.
Well, you can make an offer. You can make an offer on OpenSea, you know, and maybe you'll accept it. Or you can make an offer for a fraction of it. You can make an offer for like, you know, 1 lot or 100 lot or something like that.
I got to get to 50% so then I can kick them out. I don't think I can do that, but I'm gonna try.
So this is a conversation to have in the Christianity layer. You should start a post in there. You should subscribe and post in there and say, "Hey,
he will."
I noticed that this was a little bit
he will. It's John.
Yeah, a little bit underutilized, and I would appreciate you know, some more participation. And if you give me ownership, I will try to drive that participation. That's the way to do that.
I gotta wait until I got the Heather Gray account though.
Okay.
Account.
Fair enough.
Then he'll go on Den, or like he'll just see what. Look, we all know that his dog is not baptized, and these pictures he's posting. there's no way this guy is here with
not
good
here
intentions.
legitimately. Like he's here. He is here to ruin.
You guys know about the Matter giveaway?
Yeah, I saw that.
I saw a little bit.
That was cool. Yeah,
it's cool. I failed to respond to Slevin soon enough. They were wanting actually. This is the proposer of the flower and gardens layer, and so when it came in, I think third runner up, I went ahead and created it and paid the fee. It was like 600 Matter or something, because there were several people that wanted a garden layer, and even locally, like my wife, I've been trying to get her on Den forever, man. A garden layer might be what it takes. So I went ahead and paid for that, and they had offered to tip me 100 Matter if I did that, but we never really like had the conversation properly, which is something that we can do much better when we have chat rooms in the layers, which is on the way too.
Oh, good.
And that's a great place for. I predict that once chat rooms are on the desktop and it's easily accessible by people, we tried it once with the app. Really, the desktop is where we're going to end up needing it a lot. But the low effort stuff can go into the chat room where you're just conversing, and then the posts can be more organized, that kind of thing. But regardless, instead of giving it to me, they decided just to do a 100 Matter giveaway, which is dope because this will directly help launch the layer. It's a good idea for anybody who has a new layer and you've got some extra Matter from just participating on Den. So if you want to participate, a 100 Matter will be shared to the first 20 users. That is, each user will get 5 Matter, not each user will get 100. So you subscribe to Garden and Flower. You share this post here that it is pointing at, boop, right here. Post to be shared, not the one that says the contest, but this post to be shared. So you go through and you share that post. Let me go see if I can go back now. Come on, back. You know you want. Oh, it opened it in a new tab. Good. And then you make a post in that layer with a screenshot of the shared post. So if you do that, you'll probably get 5 Matter tipped out, and that'll help us launch the layer too. And I just realized I need to go take a picture of a nice flower to put in the
cool way to build
avatar for that.
That's cool. Actually a really neat way to build some traction.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to do like little contests.
All right. So let's see.
So I have a question about Den also.
Yeah, go for it.
If you press the Den button in the top left, like on the screen, right, in Den,
yes.
Where does that take you?
Let's find out. Takes you to your home screen.
Is that the home screen?
Let me see.
Or is that like...
Oh, no. Oh, let me go back.
If I click that and then I click home on the right side, it gives me 2 different places, I thought. I could just be wrong.
No.
Okay. I could be a liar.
I think it's literally the same thing. What you could be thinking, though, is if you have up on the right, if you have this flame turned to a clock or something, that'll give you a different... Maybe it was like set to different sortings when you did that. I'm not sure, but it should be the same thing. I think that's just your home feed, not screen, but home feed. By the way, yesterday's Super Happy every month there's like a full AMA where Joe will go through the whole thing all the way to the bottom, and then every episode there's like a 3-question AMA. So throw your questions in on that, or watch it to get the AMA questions answered, because there's some decent questions in there that you might have been curious about.
So let's see.
Cool. All right, what else do we got? Because
Here's
we're
something we
pretty
should-
close to
Something we should do, just side note here, real quick.
exhausting our
just-
time, I think.
Something
What
we
was that,
should
David?
say, something we should do here. I was just checking to make sure I wasn't muted. So it was cool to have like VKB and pop in one of the people that we see on the platform fairly regularly. We should find a way to start, other than just asking on the show here, maybe tipping somebody out with a message saying like, "Hey, reach out to me here," to get some of the people that we see on the site regularly to see if we can like schedule them to come in, to see if they actually want to like set a time and have like maybe like 15 minutes or something they want to talk about.
Got you. So if you see people that are
like that.
obviously being very active, for example, where a good place to, I'll call it mining. You can mine people from would be, where is it? It's going to be called
Good example, side note,
Humor.
Street Meet. Like Street Meet.
marketing and strategy. There we go. Boom. So this layer, MSD, is purely dedicated to how to market Den, how to get people to come in better, what things to use. We need to go in here and talk about what we're doing in Gainesville, for example, so that other people can do that. But any of the people in here that are talking about marketing, Easy Crypto, I see all the time working on stuff. Slevin, obviously, we just talked about. Rockstar is in here.
Just curious.
Oh, and
Just
Jack,
curious, how many owners?
well.
How many owners?
Let's see.
Yeah.
We have some.
A good amount. Hey, you're in there.
Right on. Me and you are both in there.
Oh yeah, somebody sent me a little bit. I remember that now. Okay.
Cool. Let's see.
Yeah.
Angel Breaker's in there. Who else do I know? I know Den. I Am just came back really on fire about helping out with Den. That would be a great user to get on this show. Mladezi
Easy
also.
Crypto. Easy Crypto is the one you
Easy
sent
Crypto.
us.
I've met with Easy Crypto once actually, and that's something we talked about doing more often. Jacob Wayne, I remember like a lot of proactiveness. Yeah, there's a lot of names in here that I recognize. Trades and Belmar. I've seen Rambo around, Pumpers, Sherry Hills quite a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of people in here and Jason, of course. Cool. This is a good group. VKB's right there in the middle.
Hey, dead
So
center.
Yeah.
this is a layer we should probably hang out in more.
Yeah, I should subscribe to that.
Cool.
I haven't.
That's
I
a good
have
point.
already.
We should invite some people in that are directly interested in that.
Yeah, like have some people pop in. Be neat. So I have a question for John while we're here.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's let's work on our outro, but not too quickly. What does everybody have that they still want to talk about or ask about?
I have a stupid question for John that hasn't been discussed for 2 episodes. Does he love Taylor Swift or not?
Yo, T Swift or die.
Because
Like,
like
that's
I
the real
mean,
thing.
my opinion is obvious. Like this is a record. So
You got records, John? You got records?
I have hundreds of records,
Ooh,
Dave.
do I have records?
I
I
have-
own records.
Hundreds.
You want
I
to see
think
my
that's-
records?
Do you have a
Do it,
Taylor
yeah.
Swift record?
If not,
that
I can
like
make
that kind
happen.
of record, like a Taylor Swift record. You
Yeah.
want that kind of record.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
maybe not. We'll never know because you're not going to tell us, are you?
So
Give away the illusion.
when I got married, I now own Taylor Swift records. I did not buy any on my own.
I don't.
I do enjoy an occasional 22 or Red or something like that.
Okay.
But I don't know, man. Taylor Swift, some of her stuff I enjoy, and some of it I'm like, you know what, I'm good.
Some of it's rough. Some of it's the exact
and I
same
feel-
song 5 times.
I feel bad because a lot of this, like, I don't feel bad, but some of the stuff I like is not the stuff that like most other people like. I feel from her stuff.
That's a good thing.
And and the thing is like some stuff she does like that pop, like not pop, but like that pop acoustic kind of rock thing pretty well, I think.
Yeah.
And then she'll do like her techno song with I'm forgetting Brandon Urie or something from Panic at the Disco.
yeah.
I'm like, I'm good. And then she put out
May see.
Folklore. I'm like, I see what you're trying to do here. You're not better than people in my hometown. So like I'll listen to Matthew Fowler's album. He's going to be on this show at some point because he's slowly just going to be on every show I'm on.
I did not like the last two albums, to be honest.
Like I'd rather listen to that than any like. My wife puts on Folklore when she drives sometimes, and I fall asleep.
Yeah, it's not great. It's really not. That and the other one, like Cardigan, I think was the other album, and it was not grand.
I'm not as well versed on the different songs and albums as the two of you are. It sounds like. But I think Taylor Swift is great.
That's good.
I just haven't done a deep dive. I don't know any of the deep cuts. You know, I know what I've heard. I know what my sister listens to. You know, I've heard her listening to it. But that's about it.
Is a good album.
I'd rather listen to Tristan's music for sure. Like, like y'all weird is great. Like
I should probably go on an
It's funkier too, man. Like it's.
Thank you very much.
I don't know. Yeah, like I think of course. Like I think like her older stuff had more like less production value, which is something
more fun.
It's just not overly produced. And that's kind of just what happens with artists. Like the longer they're in the scene, the more overly produced they become. I feel.
Oh, look at this.
This is going to sound kind of counterproductive here, or counter to what you're saying. But thanks. But I really like Lady Gaga a lot more than Taylor Swift.
I can agree with that in some regards. She went from being kind of this weird, secretive person to actually a pretty good artist these days.
Yeah, I really like her older stuff and would prefer to listen to her older stuff, but just her in the public eye, I've just gotten so much more respect for her as years have gone on. I think she's made really good decisions and really, like you're saying, shown the world that she's a real freaking person, man. She's not.
And like she's always like fun and happy when she's out and about doing interviews and things like that. And I'm pretty sure she was at the inauguration too.
Yeah, she
with
sang.
The bird dress. She sang
she was. Yeah,
without lip
she sang the national anthem, I think. But and then also when she came, so when just like on Lady Gaga, when the movie or whatever, Starborn or whatever the hell it was,
Star
Runner. I don't know what it was called. Great movie, and she's just like a phenomenal like singer-songwriter sounding singer, which is like something I enjoy personally.
Well, she does what she does well.
And a damn good actress.
Yeah.
I haven't seen her in any films, actually. I haven't seen a lot of films, man. Tristan
she's in one of the seasons of American Horror Story too. I haven't watched that, but
really? No shit.
First season was really good.
That's a cool show.
She did an album with Tony Bennett.
Yeah, I think she's doing a second one now too.
Is she? I saw something about it a while back. I mean, I heard a Tony Bennett song come on, and then she kicked in, and she's really good at that style of music, like the whole swing and jazz era.
Oh yeah.
Well, this is a wild tangent.
You know who I like?
I know.
So speaking of,
we should propose a Lady Gaga lair.
That would be
Gaga versus Swift lair.
That would become an actual war at some point. People would shoot other people because of that.
You know who's got a couple of really, really good albums, I think. Just thinking of I guess female artists. I'm not sure what else would have led me to thinking of her at the moment, but do you guys know Poe, P-O-E? Have you heard of that artist?
No.
Sex for the Ears, man. Really, really good stuff. But she signed a terrible deal, and the record company just shelved her and didn't allow her to perform anywhere. What she was saying is she would get sued for singing her own songs in her shower at home if she did. Basically, it was really tightly written. And so she was basically just crushed by the record company until after that deal expired. She tried to start up a record label called Repo Records. I'm not sure where that went, but she had an album called Hello and another one. I forget the name of the other one, but check those out because Poe is one of those female artists that got the shit into the stick way before the recent American trend of trying to be less shitty to women, you know? So yeah, definitely dig that one up.
Okay.
I don't know why, but that I don't know why, but that reminds me of another tangent here. Jewel. I don't know if you remember Jewel, but she
Oh,
was
yeah.
just recently on Joe Rogan a couple weeks ago.
Oh, no
And
shit.
her story, man, her story is really worth listening to.
I was
She
a
has a
huge
really
Jewel
interesting
fan
perspective on the
when
music
I was in
industry.
8th grade. I really was.
Me too.
I
Me
could see
too.
that. I could definitely see that.
I remember
Isn't she
when
from
Feather came
Alaska?
out, all
I think
that.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere in Middle America, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
I thought Jewel was
I
from
don't know.
Alaska, like literally from like
Oh
Anchorage.
no,
I don't know.
you're right. You're actually right. And her dad is actually famous for something else, not music related at all, but was also a musician. You should check out that podcast. That's a really good episode of JRE.
That'd be a good,
Lots of cool stuff.
that would be a good post. This discussion right here that we're having would be an excellent post for the music layer to talk about different female artists and female musicians and which ones you've been familiar with over the years and which ones might people have not heard about. If you like this, maybe try this one that you've never heard because you might like it the same or more, that kind of thing. So
Yeah,
one of
whoever wants
us,
to initiate that, I'll pop
one of
in.
us is initiate that, and then we'll all jump in there and give our 2 cents. And that can be something like, there's a lot of just posting a video with not a lot of like talking about it. That's something that could be, a thing with the post too. Is like, hey, if you don't want to talk about it, here's a post for just posting your favorite female artist video song thing in the replies.
And
keep it all into one post.
As one of the owners of that layer, I gotta say, I used to go in there every day and dump I got a good little chunk of matter at this point. So I used to dump good amounts of energy in that layer, but I've kind of since backed off and more of an evaluator in other layers now because it's just that. It's just, here's a video. I like this song, which is cool.
That's
and
our
it should
responsibility.
be there.
We are the owners.
Right, but
we are the
those
community.
posts should be there. I'm not saying those posts shouldn't be in there. I mean, who am I? I'm not a dictator. I'm only own like 25% of it. But I just wish there was more discussion. And I've posted in there and opened up some discussions, but I'd really like to see more of that. And if anybody who's listening hears that, I will dump some energy on your posts if it's quality and it's not just, here's my favorite song.
And I'll tip it out too with matter.
Yeah. So
as well.
Yeah.
That layer in particular deserves that we get back in and just reassess. It's a new year. We can reboot that layer.
It's very true.
We David and I went through and changed right before governance rolled out for layers. David and I went out and changed the settings a little bit on the music layer to where you couldn't post if you had a super low, like 2-star reputation.
I think that's what it was.
Just to see if that would help, and it did. But I don't know if that was like, there needed to be more communication about that at the time. There needed to be a post saying, am I breaking up again? I'm breaking up again, aren't I?
No, you're okay.
No, okay. No, I can hear you just fine.
Okay, cool. But yeah, so we need to go in and open a post, a couple of them, one about Taylor Swift and other artists like that, but also a post about just, and this is something that probably beginning of the year now that everybody might think about doing who's an owner, is open a post for discussion about what needs to be revamped. Let's say, we're rebooting the layer, rebooting the community. What does everybody want to see? Before we go in and even begin to put in governance proposals to change reputation settings or the threshold for being allowed to vote or to, that kind of thing. Or maybe you can post, but you can only post text and not a video, or a photo and not a video until you have your reputation higher. There's ways to manage that. In the end, we're given a bunch of behavioral tools that we have to use as designed. We have to put the incentives and the penalties where they belong to get the sort of environment that we want. We've already seen 2 other layers, music layer spinoffs, because the music layer, like you said, is just it's kind of spammy. It's kind of the same thing that the music layer on Reddit became, where it was just like a bunch of spammy, meh, who cares? We don't want that, right? Obviously, we want something.
Unfortunately, both of those layers are kind of ghost towns. Unfortunately, I kind of had high hopes for them.
Right, but they got created. You know what I mean? Which was,
That's
to me,
true.
a signal saying the music layer is not fulfilling the needs of the community. The community, at least at the time when that was created, wanted to talk about electronic music as a producer, as an enthusiast, to talk about it, not just show the music. And they wanted a place to talk about music kits where you can have music creation, music gear, I think is the other layer. So yeah, let's take that on as the first reboot. That and gaming, same time.
Yeah, gaming needs to have
And-
it. We're also
and
working on
there's-
that anyways.
And John's going
there's
to take
one
care of
more.
Christianity layer, right?
Take care
There's
of
one
the
more. We gotta take on Christianity. Rebooting Christianity. We're gonna reboot Christianity.
You just started a political.
I'm not even Christian. Not even Christian.
You don't have to be. I mean, you may, maybe you do have to be. I don't know.
That might help.
It might
Oh,
help,
but-
not a necessity.
But no,
Not a
you don't have to be, because here's what I'm interested in Christianity layer is, and I even asked this to the owner. I was like, hey, if as a non-Christian, am I welcome to come and talk about stuff? Because
No.
there's a, like, if as long as you're not a stupid, crazy, like bad, rude, shitting on things
Just
person,
mean for no reason.
you know, if you come in with an attitude like, I mean, everyone's seen it, like the internet, like a typical person on the internet that comes in with something to prove, you're going to be less welcome than somebody who comes in curious and interested. And that was my
Yeah,
take.
but
It's
that's
like,
the
there's a lot of
beauty.
things that I would like to discuss actually in the Christianity layer. My fear, though, is these are things that led me to leave Christianity in the first place, because I did grow up as a Baptist Christian, going to church, family, that kind of thing. And so I've got a lot of background knowledge there, and there's a lot of things that I have questions about. So I don't know. Maybe it's worth me asking that in the Christianity layer to see what kind of responses I get.
I got a really old.
But that's the
Bible
beauty
if
of
you wanna
Den
read one.
too.
I
That's
think
the
so
beauty
too.
of Den too. If somebody goes in there and is a big giant jerk, their stuff's going to get downvoted and they're going to waste their energy and not earn any matter.
Not only that,
It's
they're going to
probably
get a
not gonna be around
reputation.
long.
You know, the reputation system is basically designed for that, to make it to where you don't have to
Yeah.
manually go in and ban someone. If that person
but
goes
how-
in, and there's a threshold that you can set saying, if this many people block this any user, right? This many people in the layer block this user, that user then is banned from the layer.
Yeah.
So then the admin doesn't have to do that. It's just a collective thing. And then the other thing is, the other side of that measurement is that, at least in the white paper, whether or not it's been implemented, but there's a max block to where you can only block a maximum number of people. So the idea is, don't put yourself in a bubble by blocking people you disagree with, but have the ability to block people that are making trouble for the community with no value being added to the conversation, that kind of thing. And that's where I think Den excels in having adults converse about things that they may even disagree about, where you can't get that in other places. Face to face, you know, when you're talking to someone to their face, typically, in my experience, you're a little bit less likely to just yell and rant about stuff. That's kind of what you get on Den. It's like, oh, you still yell and rant about stuff, but like, I don't know, at least you can ignore it. And, you know, I don't know. It's just, it's unique. I'm trying to figure out how to describe what's different about
hostile takeover of the Christianity layer. That's all. We're the Knights of Templar. We're gonna go in. We're gonna kick them out. Okay, Josh McGrovan. I don't know what the guy's name was before on there. You're
We're
going
gonna
down,
oust
buddy.
him.
But see, that's something that I would be interested in reading about on that layer. I don't really know a whole lot about the connection between Knights Templar, Christianity, what the
That's an
recorded
interesting-
history versus the rumors of that legacy and stuff like that. I don't know.
That's actually a really fun era, by the way. Like the 10th to 11th century is just a wild era of history.
I can explain it in about
into.
5 seconds if you want.
Can you? 5?
Go for it.
We got
Yeah,
5 seconds.
5 seconds. John goes into your lair. Hostile
be honest-
takeover of your Christianity lair, whether you liked it or not.
Good morning,
that's
Logan.
pretty much right on point with what happened as well, to be honest, for 100 years. But, you know, side note, I just want to point out really quick, we've hit a milestone for coffee today.
Have we?
We have our first actual guest. We've got 5
True.
people on here at the moment. And we have spam bots in our comments putting a
I noticed that
explicit
too.
material. Don't go to those links.
Wondering what that was,
They're links.
and then I'm like, oh, it's spam,
Yeah.
which is so, you know.
I'm so
I was
refreshed
watching.
to see spam.
You guys all seen Don't Look Up? The movie Don't Look Up yet? It's on, like, everybody's talking about it right now that I talked
I've
to,
been
apparently.
avoiding it. I'm
That's
avoiding
pretty
it
good,
like the
actually.
plague.
Dude, Leo nailed that shit.
It's
Is it
pretty
good?
actually. It's
Okay.
really
So,
it drags a little bit. I'm gonna say it drags just a skosh.
Yeah,
Okay.
good.
I just,
All in all,
it's
it's
like,
good.
even if I agree with like the politics of some of these, movies that are coming out, like, I don't want to watch a movie about convincing me that of something I'm already convinced of.
But it's
No, I
really
get you
well
there.
executed.
I'm glad they're being made, but like, come
I've
on.
read. I don't know if this is accurate or not,
Let's-
so I'll say it with a grain of salt. But I read that it was written before the pandemic thing, and it was actually being
That is true.
filmed before this whole pandemic thing. It just happens that so much of the dialogue about qualified scientists being ignored, kind of thing, is brought up a lot in the film. It was, I think, it was based around climate change more than anything else. But the thing that reminded me of it was the spam. There's a lot of breaking the fourth wall in that film, which I like, which is like just bringing you out of the immersion a little bit. I think that helps with the way that it drags out, like keeps it interesting. I like longer movies. I like, for example, like the what is the Apocalypse Now Redux, the one that's like an extra 40 minutes long kind of stuff. I like the long drag out movies myself.
I like films that take a
But
long
there's
time
a
to get
scene
through.
where there's a chat, like a YouTube chat, right? And it shows up on screen very prominently. And then the last one is like a spam, like click here to see nude pics with a little thing. And I was like, that's interesting, because it's so very common now that if you're making a movie today and you include YouTube comments as part of it, you got to make it realistic by throwing in some spam.
Some spam links. That's funny. I just want to point out real quick about the film we were talking about before when I walked away for a minute. I'll watch Meryl Streep in anything, but like,
Yeah.
she was good. She was real good. She was real good. Also, I'm going to go ahead and say this here. Meryl Streep still has a nice butt. They showed her butt at the end of it. I was surprised by that.
I mean, you can buy a lot of things if you got the cash. I've heard.
Be nice to her.
No, I'm sure she does squats. It's fine.
Meryl Streep's awesome. I fell in love with Meryl Streep in that. I don't know if have you guys ever seen, there was a HBO, I believe, miniseries, probably 15 years ago, called Angels in America. Did you ever see that?
No, but I should.
It's excellent. Meryl Streep doesn't play a huge role in it, but that's where I fell in love with Meryl Streep and Jeffrey Wright. Awesome. I
Well, I'm gonna
love
go
both of them. There's a great cast. I can't remember the rest of the actors' names, but that show is great. It's like 6 episodes, and it's about like the implications of AIDS in America. It's
Oh, that's a
really,
really
really
cool-
interesting show. And not a lot of people know about it. So anybody listening, go check that out. It's
I
really,
should.
really excellent.
I'm going to use
That's
you
cool.
plugging. I'm going to use you plugging a TV show to plug a TV show real quick.
Sure.
It's a couple years old at this point, but so Sundance is a channel here that you get through, like, I think you get it through like Dish Network or something. But they do a lot of really interesting, shows that weren't produced in America. They'll bring a lot of stuff here that wouldn't normally make it here. So they brought over a show called Deutschland 83. And it's about, I was telling you about this. It's about East and West Germany in 1983. And then there's a second season, which is 1986, which those are 2 hugely prominent years in the history of, East and West Germany. And the whole point is this guy, he's got a mom and she's got this like liver disease. And in order for him to get her higher on the list, because he's in East Germany, so he's in the communist part of the country, to get her higher on the list, he agrees to go be a spy for the West. And the whole show is like, you have this whole cool spy thing going on with actual historical stuff that's quite accurate. And then you've got this side story of him just having culture shock about being from a country where he was told, like, at one point he gets asked how he likes his steak. And he just says, like, yes. And he doesn't know how to tell them, like, yeah, I'd like it to be rare. He's just like, yeah, I'll have meat on a plate, please. But it's
From
great.
what I understand,
Just watch
that's
it.
exactly how it
it's
was.
in German. but it's really good.
That's that would be an interesting a couple of these TV shows or movies would be an interesting cross post discussion between the TV's layer. We have one of those, by the way. Where's my screen? Let me share this.
I want to watch those with Tina. She'd probably think that was cool.
And then hit that button, and then is this the one? Yup. Cool. So we do have a TV and movies and shows and all that layer. That'd be a cool cross-paced discussion between history and TV and movies to talk about like, oh, they got this right or wrong, or look how they portrayed this and that kind of thing. There's a lot of layers that could really use cross-posting, and we have a mechanism going in to do that, and you can even get rewarded if you find something that belongs in a different layer.
Oh yeah, the cross-post thing.
That kind of
thing.
It's
going to go in. Funnily enough, the time periods that that show is set in, my father-in-law was in the army in Germany at the time. So when he saw it was coming out, like he participated somewhat in like some of the operations that they talk about. So he was really excited about it, which is why I think probably the reason that I jumped at it as quick as I did. But definitely just worth your time.
The thing about the steak, though, I can see that because I was talking to my wife, grew up in East Germany.
I should watch those
until I think she was like almost 10. She was 8 years old, between 8 and 10. So she grew up like in East Germany for sure. And she's telling me a lot of this stuff is like that, where, yeah, you got cars, you just all have the same one. Everybody has the same exact car. And sometimes they're a different color.
And
if you wanted a different car or a new car, you put your name on a list and you might wait a couple of years until your number comes up and you can go get yourself a new car. The same one, just another one. Stuff like that. It's just the planned economy. It was, so that's it. Yeah, we should watch it with Tina.
That would be fun, actually. That would be a blast. Don't you have a little model of one of those cars? I think you do.
Oh, yeah.
Somewhere.
Yeah. Here it is.
As I make you get props now.
So I'm working on a movie also.
They looked like this.
I still thought it was the Harry Potter car.
Those are cool.
All right, John, you're working on a movie?
Yeah, I'm working on a movie. It's about the hostile takeover.
God damn it.
We all knew this was coming, guys. We all knew this was coming.
The exclusive, the film is going to be exclusively released in the movies and TV shows layer.
Mm-hmm. It's probably going to be substantially better than the book. Oh, there's a bad joke. There's such a bad joke there.
All right,
clearly we're not Christians here.
That's 2 hours.
How did Coffee with Dan alienate its entire Christian viewer base?
No, I want every person who may have been offended by John to not be.
Yeah,
we're having a good time. We love you. I am not for or against any particular spirituality or religion or tradition or anything like that.
Also me.
I think anything can be made fun of as long as you're not a dick about it.
Yeah.
Or if you're skilled enough as a comedian.
I did not make fun of Christianity. I made fun of the way they're running their layer.
Specifically,
exactly.
Like
the way they run their layer.
About
it's
religion.
Just one guy posting to himself.
And that's important to point out about comedy too. Is just because the subject matter is sensitive, listen to what the person's saying as well. I don't think you were making fun of Christianity. I think you were making fun of the lack of activity in the layer, basically.
And it was tasteful as well. It wasn't like just mean.
No, it wasn't.
That's debatable, but that's what Den is for. All right, guys. Thanks again for the first episode of the year. I don't know if we're always going to go 2 hours. We did last time and we did this time, but hey, that was the last episode of last year, and this is the first one of this year.
It just depends on the kind of tangents we go on.
To be honest, it's probably going to happen again. So,
thank you, VKB, first of all, and also for
VKB. If you're still with us,
cool to have you here.
Do you have anything that you wanted to say or to go out on? Anybody you want to give a shout out to before we close out today?
Yeah, but just I want to thank you all and wish you a very good, happy New Year and good luck for Den.Social. It's a very good platform, and
thank you.
I think in 2022 it's going to get high and high.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like
a lot of the stuff that we've been doing has been obviously building, but taking all of the feedback and incorporating it into the building that we're doing. The way we're designing things. Yep. So thank you for that feedback, VKB, and thank you for your help with Den And Happy New Year to you as well. And come on anytime you want. We'll be here every Wednesday morning. Well, evening for you.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Okay.
It's going on like 10 o'clock for you now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's 10 o'clock.
Well, I was going to go to y'all weird next, but you just took a swallow. So, John, you got anything on you want to shout out on our way out here? Besides your, you're going to do it, aren't you? Go ahead.
Don't do it.
I wasn't going to. I see, now that you're expecting it, you can't call it back. That's the rule of comedy. It's got to be like a little unexpected.
Got to slide in subtly when everyone forgets.
Exactly.
Right. But no, thanks for coming on like so regularly as well. I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, John's a blast to have on. Seriously, he's so much fun to have on.
But no, yeah, really. Any shout outs since I just shut you down?
Yeah. Shout out to
Yeah.
Dave. Thanks for putting this together and emailing me or sending me a message every day at 8:30 in the morning with a link to this. I appreciate it.
Very welcome.
Yeah, I'm super happy. Y'all weird got on here. So it was fun talking to you again. And David, always
Likewise.
good seeing you. Shout out to doing your dishes as soon as you're done cooking, so that way like food doesn't get stuck on it and stuff. Shout
where
out
it's
to
at.
doing your dishes timely. Shout out to that. Also, stop in on the Christianity layer, see what's happening with your boy. That's all I got.
Right on. Y'all
go
weird.
sub
You
to
want
the Christianity
to
layer.
shout out or say anything on our way out of here today?
Oh, just thanks for having me on, guys. It was an absolute pleasure. I had no idea what to expect, and I had a great time. If you are interested in my music, any listeners, just check. I'm on Spotify and YouTube, or just check out all my posts on Den.
You're
Man.
Spotify right now.
Posted
Yeah.
pretty much everything on there. Just scroll through my page, and please post good quality content in the music layer. I will upvote the crap out of it.
Efforts are redoubled. We'll keep an eye on it now. Gravity Crab, what's up with you, man?
I'm good. I'm here all the time. I have no shout outs. I've said hi to everybody. I'm perfect.
All right, fair enough, man. I'll give a shout out to the article that we're not done writing yet. We might do a to be continued one, but I have a whole bunch of photos of building this machine that David and I, the Gravity Crab and I, are building.
That
And
motherboard.
yesterday we spent several hours troubleshooting to the point where we are confident that it is an expensive piece of hardware that arrived broken.
5.5. I would like to
yeah.
point out 5.5. Two of
Yeah.
which we spent not realizing that we just needed to click next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that'll be up in the Christianity. That'll be in the John's got me
Get some
thinking about
quality
that layer now.
posts in there.
The cryptocurrency layer. Yeah, we're gonna take it over with cryptocurrency. No, let's not do that.
No, please don't do that. We're not
Yeah, so
starting
that'll be up in the
this.
cryptocurrency layer, and whenever we I guess write it. Right now, it's going to be it doesn't work yet. What I want to show is like what's the hash rate, what kind of results do we get, how fast can we mine Chia in memory versus on a hard stuff like that on a hard drive.
Lots of experiments with just powerful hardware that you can't really find much data on.
Cool.
So that's what we're going to try to.
All right. Well, that has been Coffee with Den, episode 11. We'll see you next week, same time, same place, in the Den layer. And there will, unless I forget, there will almost always be a link to join. And I usually put a link up there so you can see what your local time zone is going to be as well. And I'll continue to promise to get that post up sooner than the day before, but I can't give any guarantees really because I keep saying that and not fulfilling it. But it'll be there at least the day before to add comments. Let me actually refresh one time and make sure we didn't miss any comments that came in while we were here. I know I just got done saying bye, but
while you're doing that, I'm going to say this real quick. For next week, because I know they're going to probably watch this, Street Meat at some point. I would absolutely love to have them pop in, just because that's another person that I see comment and post all the time. They did the year of tipping thing for the December for Christmas, which was awesome, or the New Year's. It was the Christmas or New Year's, but it was awesome. So I'd love to have them pop on and just kind of tell us how that went in the background.
Cool. And yep, nobody else. Let's see. Wait. Nope, we answered that one. Yep. Okay, we're good. So that's been episode 11. Thanks again, everyone. See you next week, 9 a.m. Eastern. And we're going to go out with that song I was talking about that was written, performed, recorded by Y'all Weird. So
Awesome.
Here it is, and goodbye.
Love you guys.
Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best.
Adaptable, all capital, label radical yet rational. A tactical approach is palpable if this animal is fallible, but that conclusion is laughable. So with for all detachable from the mandible.